to be a video of my Chinese bike with a 300ex engine. The engine I'm going to put on the Suzuki is actually the engine that came off of this. This bike weighs probably 550 pounds. The engine that was on it just wasn't quite big enough for it. It's a good little engine, but it just wasn't made to carry around the weight of this thing. So it's a pretty good sized bike. It's probably like the size of a 450R. As far as putting the engine in, I had to weld in mounts. Here's to be upper mounts, and then I made these lower mounts, cut them out on a bandsaw. I'll show you on the other side, maybe you get a better view, there's more light. And then the exhaust, this right here is a ATC 250's header. The 300ex header, if you're familiar with them, they got a really long hoop on them to go around one of the frame pieces, and I just really didn't need that on here. So I've noticed, looking at the ATC 250 engines, they pretty much look identical to this one, except for their 2-valve instead of 4. So I got on eBay and seen it was like 20 bucks or something. Figured, well, I'll get it and see if it works. As far as the quality of this bike, it seems like, of course, the more you pay for something, the better you get. This one actually has bearings in the swing arm. There's ball bearings in there, and it's pretty stout. I have had a couple little issues with it. I've had it about 3 years. The gas tanks, where they mount to the frame, the gas tank will crack. So I've had to replace that once on it, and then bought some extras just in case someday I need a new one. I can't find one, and I got one. The shocks was terrible on it, which is normal for Chinese bikes. These front ones here are 400ex shocks. They're not. These ones here aren't the best because I pretty much just bought a set to see if these gonna be strong enough and all that. I think I paid like 30 bucks for them. I see that they work. When these ones here go, well, I think one of them's leaking. But whenever they go bad, I'll just get a nicer set. The front bumper is a 400ex bolt up, and it bolted right up. Nerf bars, I can't remember if they're 450R or 400ex Nerf bars, which pretty much making them fit is just pretty much the normal details. Now you can see this mount that I made for the front. And then these mounts in the back, or in the bottom and the top that I made, let's see if you can get a kind of a view of them. I made them out of box tubing. And I just cut it down the center, and then you cut into it a little bit here. And you can grind this away, or cut it off and grind it away, and then you can kind of round it off, drill a hole through, and then the other end you just kind of grind it out so it's round. And you can weld it up to the frame, and they kind of end up looking like stock motor mounts. And then on this one I made a case saver. This engine here is pretty good for throwing the chain right through the engine block. And here's one that I made 2 of them when I made it. But pretty much the only way that this thing can bolt up, the way I made this one, is that the fact that my case is already broke. When I bought this engine, it was already broke. A piece of it's broke out right here. So it uses way it bolts up is it uses the bolt that would have normally went into the engine block. So I just drill a hole in it, and then I don't think it's fastened at the bottom. It just kind of, just holds it there, and it kind of wraps around in the engine there. So far I haven't lost a chain. This thing runs so close proximity to the chain that I don't think the chain could really derail in there. Every time I go to make a video, I always try to plan out what I want to go over with it, and then after I make it, I end up trying to, like, darn it, I forgot to put that in. The gear shifter is off the Chinese engine that was in here. And I didn't have to change it in any way. I think maybe I bent it this way a little bit. Another little detail with the reverse on this engine. It used to have a cable that went to the clutch that you had to activate, and then you can put it in neutral, and you can pull the lever up on the other side. Can't see it because it's too dark. There's a little shaft right here that sticks out that cable hooked to. I took the side case off and I ground off. See if I got another one I can show you. Another 300ex engine up here. I don't see one. I ground off a little, like the shaft goes in, there's like a little dog that sticks off of it. And all you do is grind that off and then stick the shaft back in, and you don't have that little lever problem anymore. Well, got that engineered at a scrap yard. The guy brought it in on his trailer, and I seen it and convinced him that he's only going to get about $6 for scrap for it. And well, the only thing wrong with it was this shaft right here was stripped. And then I have another engine that the case was all busted up and everything, but this shaft was good. I just split the case and basically just pulled the shaft right out of the gears and slid the other one in. He was scrapping it just because that was stripped out. I tore the engine down. It looked like it was just re-ringed, and the bore was perfect. The piston still had machine works on it. Here's all the top end stuff. The rockers was like new. I saved it from the scrap. I think I gave him $20 for it. Back to this thing. The battery went dead in it pretty quick. I made a new battery box to hold a lawn and garden battery. They're like $30 and they're twice the size. As heavy as this thing is, what's another 5 pounds for a battery? Lasts a lot longer. Got a hitch on there for my trailer. That's probably about it for this one. Thanks for watching.